princess. Now, when I'm at this point, I can kind of see essentially what I'm working with. And now I have to decide what I want it to look like in the end. And as of right now, I'm not 100% sure, but I know we need to work on her skin a bit because we got some stuff going on. Now I did shoot this at 4.0, so we're not as crisp and clear all over as what we would be in some of the other ones. And so I'm not overly worried, honestly, about her skin. So I'm not going to do frequency separation, which I did show in the last video, which is the Scared Little Girl one. I am just going to go in with my patch tool, my healing brush, and my clone tool, and work on her skin. So how do you know which one to use? Because they all can do the same thing. They just do, each one does something better than the other one. So the healing brush tool is really good with things like stray hairs. It's really good with those. It's good with pimples. And generally speaking, it's good overall, except with things like creases in the neck. So let's say I want to remove this crease and I do this. It's going to leave little pieces of it. And it actually did that one a lot better than what I anticipated. But as I'm getting closer to this fur thing, it could potentially pick up some of it. However, this time it's been pretty cooperative and did a pretty decent job. So I'm happy with the way that that looks. She doesn't have a ton in this image that we need to work on because it's not super sharp. Now you can see here there's something going on there that the healing brush, I don't like what it did, so I will grab the patch tool and fix it that way. And then the clone tool, clone stamping tool, is really great for evening out like lightness and darkness under the eyes. So we're gonna just grab that and just do that. You have your flow and opacity, which you can change. See, I don't like that because it just brought a light piece to somewhere where I want it to be darker. And so I'm just going to make my brush just a little bit bigger. And let's see here. So I think that's actually looking pretty good. The only thing I'm not loving is this right here. Now I don't want to make it go away all the way, so I'm going to flatten that and I'm going to duplicate that layer so I can work on a new layer just for that area right there, because it's going to be a little more difficult. I don't want to make it go away because it's obviously part of her face. It has to do with the way her mouth sits on her teeth, and that's fine, but it's a little too pronounced for my image. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, so what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the darker areas and I'm pulling them up, because really what you're seeing there is you're seeing the difference of light and dark. See, and so sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. So what I've done is I've completely flattened it out, and I don't want that because I think that changes it too much. So I'm going to pull the opacity down until I find a spot where think it looks believable, but it improves it. And I'm happy with it, then it's good. So I like that. So if I pull back, you could see the difference that made. So I'm going to flatten that out. And next, I'm going to go to my Skin and Background Glow. So this is an action. Should you use actions? Should you not? Okay, I can do the skin and background on my own. It's brightening, it's blurring, right? I can do it. But I like this action because it's there and it's a click of a button. But you still need to know how to use your actions. So actions are not the answer to everything, but you can make your own. You can buy them. But either way, you still need to know how to use them. So I like the Skin and Background Glow because it just makes everything look perfect. And in a normal portrait of a person, you don't necessarily, you aren't going to want things to look perfect or flatten them out so much. You see how it takes away the darks and the lights. You're not going to want to do that in a normal portrait because they're going to look fuzzy faced. But when I'm doing an art piece like this, I have the freedom to make it look like whatever I want. And so that's what I'm choosing right now. Now I'm actually going to do, I'm going to lower that part down to where I like it, which is going to be right about there. And then I'm going to do it again for her arms because I am going to want her arms to be on a higher opacity. So, and I could leave it on the same layer and then erase her face back a little bit. But since I have the action, it's just as easy to do it this way. When you're using actions like this, like when you're blurring, you really have to be careful around the shadowy areas and the edges, because if you flatten it too much, then, or if you use it too much, then they look flat, and that's not what you want. So I'm gonna go right about there, so you can see what that did. So now she's looking pretty good. I am noticing this part in her hair, and I'm thinking I want to fix it so it doesn't have that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my background, and I'm going to go to my lasso tool, and I'm going to grab that section, so it's like a pizza shape, right? And which side do I want to pull it to? I'm going to go to, I guess we're going to go in this direction maybe. I am going to layer via copy it. So what I've done is I took the shape and size that I needed, then I went to an area that I like and I copied that. And now I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform, so that I can kind of twist it so it goes the right direction. Make it a tiny bit bigger so it fills it in better. Now you can obviously see the edges of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eraser on a low opacity, and I'm going to erase my edges until it blends in better. Now, there's some giveaways in this that it's a copied piece. I'm going to flatten that, and then I'm going to go to my spot healing tool, and like this one is a giveaway that it's a copy, so I'm going to get rid of that, and then it needs to blend there a little bit better than what it's doing. Those are a couple giveaways. This area is a giveaway. Let's go back there. I think that was when it's more most realistic looking. Yep. So you can see, let's see, there. And we just fix that piece of hair. And maybe these ones right here give away a little bit too. And we're gonna do some dodging and burning, and that's gonna kind of make it blend better. So I'm not super worried about that. Okay, so the final thing that I'm gonna do yet is I'm gonna take this into Topaz Studio 2, which I showed you in the last video. I use this pretty much for the glow, the texture, and the AI sharpening. So I'm going to show you what all of that means. So wait to put the texture on. I'm not putting that on right now, but I will go into glow, and I am going to add a glow to my image. So I usually do somewhere in this area, kind of just depending on what the fill is I'm going for. And you can see what it does. It highlights the lighter parts. It adds like this fuzz around the darks. And I just like the feel that it's giving my image, but I don't like it everywhere. So what I do is I go in to the brush tool. I take up my layer to gray, because that's halfway on, halfway off. And then I get my brush and I take it off of her face and her hair and her arms and her hands, 50%. And you see I'm not like going crazy with making sure it's perfect. And then I'm gonna bring my transparency down on this one all the way, and I'm actually gonna take it all the way back off her face because I feel like her face is a little fuzzy enough being far away. And then I just play, dropping my opacity down to a point that I go, okay, I like the way it looks on everything that it's left on. And I'll take it in so you guys can see what that did. So that's the original, and then that's what it does with the glow. So just, I don't know, adds this softness to it. I am going to pull it back just a tiny bit more. Okay, then I go into AI Clear, and this is why I love Topaz Studio 2, is for their AI Clear, and it's basically going to sharpen everything up, and it really has this amazing way of doing that. It's got different like strengths that you can do on it. For a typical portrait, I just use it on auto. When I'm doing something where I want to push my boundaries just a little bit, I will go to medium sometimes. With this particular image, I don't love it necessarily on medium, so I'm going to go back to auto, and I'm good with that. When I do it on a higher medium or high, I don't really use high, but when I do it higher, I will pull it off the hair because I don't care for the hair having that much texture to it, or sharpness, I guess. And then I'm going to go into those eyes and into those lips and just sharpen them up just a little bit more. So that is our kind of edit as far as skin and fixing anything that we need to fix. So I'll show you where we've started, where we're at, and then the next video is going to deal with lighting.